For my bullet journal setup this month, I decided to have a throwback to July of 2020 when I did a retro bullet journal theme. This awfully made video is unfortunately still on my channel if you're interested, but I was obsessed with the 70s vibe and aesthetic, so I decided to bring it back for this July bullet journal plan with me. I'm excited to share with you guys my spreads, but before we get into it, I wanted to remind you that I'm hosting a giveaway. All the information will be on the screen in the description box below, but the giveaway ends tonight, July 25th at 11:59 p.m. CST, so make sure to enter if you haven't already. Alright, let's jump into the video. So like I mentioned, I did a 70s theme 2 years ago, and I've always been obsessed with decades, but I think the graphic design behind the 70s and all the retro colors, I mean, I guess any decade would be retro, but I just love the aesthetic of 70s, and for some reason it reminds me of like summer and music festivals, so I thought it would be a great idea to do it for a July theme back in 2020. And so not only did I do it in 2020, but it was actually my favorite bullet journal theme that year, so I'm deciding to recreate it this year. And that's actually a little tip: if you don't know what theme you want to do, then if you've been bullet journaling for a little bit, you can recreate an old theme and improve your drawings, improve your style, and you can see how much you've grown in the past couple years. So yes, I brought the theme back this month, but I actually mixed it with Harry's style. So I listened to his new album Harry's House over the past month, and I've been absolutely obsessed with his style of music, his voice, and I feel like his whole vibe is very chill and vintage inspired anyway, so kind of went with the 70s theme. So technically my theme is part 70s, part Harry Styles, part music, whatever. It's all just like a humble jumble mess. To be honest, the cover page is very chaotic. I knew for a fact that I wanted to draw a couch, don't ask me why, but I just did. And so I'm kind of reminded by like a couch sitting in like a music studio with, you know, the vinyls and the frames and the plants all surrounding it. And especially with the little stripe, I don't know what you call it, that comes with a lot of 70s graphic design. I feel like it's very cluttered and eclectic, but that kind of fits in with the music style. I really hope you guys cannot hear the mowers that are outside. Hopefully my microphone is good enough not to catch that, but if you can, I'm terribly sorry, and I'll try to cut out as much as I can. As you guys know, if you've watched my channel for a little bit, I always need a little goals section. This part is necessary, okay? Because I always want to be tracking my progress in life and see what things I'm accomplishing every month. If you didn't see it last week, I did post my new bullet journal setup where I made all the spreads to start a new bullet journal, since I use 2 bullet journals every year. So that video will definitely be linked in the description box below if you're interested. And also it's how you sign up for the giveaway, you know, all stuff is below. However, in that video I made an entire spread about mid-year goal planning, so I can kind of look back on my goals from the beginning of 2022, reevaluate them, and see what I want to finish and accomplish by the end of the year. However, it's very rarely that I ever go back to that spread except for at interval parts of the year, so that's why goals pages like this are so incredibly important to my bullet journal. I feel like it's easier to digest small little goals than a huge page of accomplishments by the end of the year. So if I can just take little miniature goals and break them down from the larger goals that I already set, it makes it easier to accomplish all the little things I want to throughout the month, and it makes me feel like I've actually done something when I feel like I'm just being busy and chaotic the entire month. If you saw my last video, you would know that I break all of my goals down into 3 sections: personal, content, and external. External is more like miscellaneous. It's going to include my academic goals, my goals for the future, etc. So I want to, for example, read 50 books in 2022. That's always been my goal, and so that's like a huge thing that I said at the beginning of the year, and spoiler alert, it didn't change, so I kept that in my goals whenever I did my mid-year setup. However, definitely cannot just say 50 books and just like leave it at that, so I'm probably going to set a goal to read 3 or 4 books in this month, and if I accomplish it, then I know I'm on my way to accomplishing that major goal by the end of the year. But it's just so much easier to digest like 3 or 4 books rather than say, make sure you read 50 books by the end of the year, because we all know I would forget about that, or something that bad would happen and I would just lose track. It would all be a huge mess. So if goal setting is kind of intimidating for you, I definitely recommend trying out this tactic, because it definitely takes the stress away from getting things done every month, and by the end of the year you can feel a lot more accomplished. As I was filming this entire setup, I was spending the entire time comparing it to my setup from July 2020, and I feel like one main difference is the color palette. I'm sure you guys all know the stereotypical 60s and 70s color palette with the bright orange and yellow and possibly turquoise, and that's kind of the colors I leaned into a couple years ago. I'll show you pictures here on the screen, but everything was very bright and neon and saturated, and although fun to draw and perfect for summer, I don't feel like it was very realistic. And in fact, when I was looking more into more realistic and non-stereotypical pictures of like 70s graphic design, I saw that there are a lot more muted colors, and so I kind of brought in a more muted orange, a darker brown, actually some blue and some green to kind of tone down the saturation, but I really love how this spread turned out. So now let's move on to the next page, which is going to be the calendar spread like it usually is. So I'm starting off this calendar by doing the big font here at the top. It says July. I always love trying out new fonts, although this one is supposed to be italicized and I only really think the J turned out looking italicized, but whatever. I did a very similar font in July 2020, but basically what I do when I want to try new fonts is go search up our lovely app Pinterest and find like an alphabet for reference, and then I'll just look up each letter if I don't know how to draw it, and eventually you kind of get the style and feel of like how to draw the serifs and the size and different nuances that each letter has, until eventually I don't really need the photo reference to draw out each of the letters. So on this page is kind of when I decided it's also going to be a music theme, because I did not want to draw lamps and couches. My original idea was to do kind of like a home decor 70s inspired thing, but I thought it was a lot easier to fit vinyls and guitars and plants around the boxes and calendars in my spreads rather than couches, which are kind of like, they have to be on the floor, you know, they have to be a certain size, whatever. So it was just a lot easier to mold these around my spread, and also a bit easier to draw. So I was adding in the guitar in the corner and the vinyls everywhere, and so I transitioned into more of a music theme than anything. Now before you ask, no, I had no idea how to draw a guitar, but no worries, because Pinterest came in handy yet again. I always say this, but it's really important to find your inspiration and reference pictures, because I had no idea how to draw a guitar, but now that I have my reference picture to draw with, I figured out how to do it, and now I know how to draw a guitar and can probably do it again without the reference, which is definitely an achievement. So if you're ever looking to draw something new or add something like a certain element into your journal that you don't know how to draw, I absolutely recommend using reference pictures. It will save everything. Now, like I mentioned, this theme is definitely part Harry Styles, part music, and so of course I wanted to add a song lyric because Harry has some amazing lyrics, and so in the top right corner I put one from one of the last songs in his album, Keep Driving, which is so sad and so good, and the little verse says, hash brown egg yolk, I will always love you. And it's funny because not only is this such a cute little verse, but the colors I'm envisioning like for the hash brown and egg yolk also match the theme, so it all just kind of ties in perfectly. I don't think I've had a calendar with separate boxes since like last July 2021 with the poppies theme, so bringing it back this month, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think even though it takes forever to draw all these little boxes, they look so cute separated like this and just cleared out over the spread, and also because it takes up more space, it kind of adds to the eclectic feel of the theme in general. By the way, I am bringing back my full page calendar, if you couldn't notice, this month, because I need much more space. I have so many things going on in July, and so I need to write down all the things that are happening, and I'm getting tired of the one-page spreads anyway for the calendars, because there's really only so many different ways you can draw a one-page calendar. Like, there's not that much room, y'all. So especially with my A5 journal, I just wanted to switch things up, add a full page calendar, and basically clutter the entire spread as much as I could, because I'm trying to be maximal this month. I don't know if it's going to be very successful because it also kind of stresses me out, but we're trying something new, we're trying something different, so hopefully you guys like this theme. This, unfortunately though, is probably my least favorite page of the setup, because I think the colors should have been switched around between the guitar and July. Honestly, I love the little yellow guitar, but I feel like all the light colors were like drawn to the bottom of the spread because the only dark color was in July, but like that also doesn't make any sense because if I switch them it'd look weird. All I'm saying is like the colors looked a little funky, and I didn't know if I really liked the spread, although in hindsight it's not as bad as I thought it was when I finished filming. And most of all, I just love how the little guitar turned out, so like I'm not mad about anything right now. I just feel like it probably could have been better. Maybe I could have added one of those stripes on the first page, like with the 3 different colors, but I didn't want to overwhelm the spread. So this is what we're working with, and after adding some shadows, this spread is all the way done. Okay, now let's move into the last spread of the setup, which is going to be my extras page yet again. Now, let's ignore Mr. Harry Styles in the bottom corner. We'll get to him in a second. In case you don't know, all the black pen in all of my videos that I'm using to outline, to do the calligraphy, to do the fonts, do the boxes, everything, is 99.9% of the time my Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip calligraphy pen. This is my favorite pen because not only can you do calligraphy, but if you hold it light enough, you can still do line art, and you can definitely control the thickness. So if I want the thickness on certain parts of my drawing to be thicker than others to imitate shadows, or if I just want to vary my different sizes of thickness because of different fonts, you know, it's just so much more versatile and so much more comfortable to draw with than a fine liner, because with a fine liner, most times the little nib is flat tipped, which means you can only draw with it if you're holding the pen directly perpendicular to the page, and usually whenever I'm at an angle filming like this, I can't be perpendicular to the page because my head's gonna get in the way. So especially when I'm at an angle and I just want to do calligraphy, I want to use different styles, different thicknesses, this pen really does it all, and I cannot recommend it enough. Even more than the soft tip, this one's just so much more beginner friendly. The hard tip is, and I'm just, ugh, it does so much for me. It does so much. As always, a link to all of my pens and supplies that I'm using are in the description box below, and they are affiliate links, which means I get a small little bonus back if you purchase from them, although not with any extra cost to you. So if you're looking for any new stationery or you want to know what I'm using, all those links are definitely in the description box. Honestly, I thought we had a little more time to get to Harry, but I'm already lining the pictures. So I guess here we go. Basically, I found this photo online, which I think is from his album Fine Line. Correct me if I'm wrong, but here it is on the screen, and it's such a vibe. Him with his feet up, just like chilling on the ground. Can you actually shut up? Had to pause because there was a stupid lawnmower again outside, but I don't even remember what I was talking about. Anyways, so now Harry Styles is in my spread. I think he's looking gorgeous over there. And honestly, it was quite a difficulty drawing him because if you don't know, I actually do love drawing profiles and portraits, although I always do it with like pencil or sometimes alcohol markers, but basically I never line the pictures. Like they're always rather realistic, and so it was quite a difficulty trying to mesh both my art style that I usually do with outliner with my bullet journal style, which always usually has fine liner in it. Haha, fine line, get it? Anyways, which is why he looks a little bit awkward and not usually as good as my usual portraits because I wasn't used to lining. However, I think the little shadows I did, especially with the creases in his pants, looked rather nice, and so I don't know, he didn't turn out awful, and he looks a little better when he's colored in anyways. Listen, okay, I am a girl with very little needs, okay? I just like rhythm and routine, and so this spread is basically just a habit tracker on the left, to-do list, and expense tracker on the right. Although the expense tracker is new, it's something that I'm really loving using, so I brought it back this month. Hopefully I can start tracking my budget a little more than I did last month and just get in the habit of tracking my money so whenever I start officially adulting, I will not have to learn these things. But other than that, like nothing is new here. You guys know all the spreads I'm using. I've done them before. I'm probably going to continue doing them because they work and they're just gonna stick. Consistency is great, y'all. So I'm sure you guys are bored with my channel and the different videos, but as long as it works for me, that's the important part. As long as you guys want to see it, I mean, I guess you're here. So I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. As I finish up this spread, I did want to remind you guys about the giveaway. If you haven't been entered already, I really recommend that you guys do. It ends tonight at June 25th, 11:59 p.m. CST. But I am going to have 3 winners. Everyone who wins gets a 25% off discount on my Etsy shop plus some free stickers. And if you're the main winner, you get my bullet journal beginners kit with like a new journal, some stickers, some pens, some washi tape, all the goodness. If you want to start a bullet journal but you don't really have the means to get supplies, I got you. So if you want to join, don't forget to do so. All the links and information will be in the description box below, but officially entering, you can do so on my old video when I set up my new bullet journal. And if you want extra, entries, go ahead and follow my Instagram, and all the rules are down below. So I just want to remind you about that if you haven't already. You have one more chance to do it, and I will be picking the winners tonight. So there's that little plug for you, and with that, this video is pretty much done. I really hope you guys loved this setup, this retro 70s music, Harry Styles, everything setup. I definitely did. I thought it was really cute and eclectic, but I hope you guys grabbed some inspiration. As always, don't forget to subscribe below if you want to see more bullet journal and productivity content from me. I post every Saturday. Follow my Instagram, check out my Etsy sticker shop, join the giveaway. Everything's in the description box below. And this setup was actually done in my new journal for 2022. I'm sure you guys saw the new cover. So link to the video where I set up my new bullet journal is right here on the screen, and I will see you over there. Toodles!